Hey everybody, this is Sanj, and for those of you tuning in for the first time, welcome to the Real Fan Review. Make sure you check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Listen to all our episodes on your favorite podcasting app, and make sure to like us and subscribe on YouTube so you can keep up to date with all the new episodes. If there's a topic you would like us to talk about, just let us know. Our email address is therealfanreview@gmail.com. Real is spelled REEL. Enjoy the show.
You're listening to The Real Fan Review with Hav, Sanj, Al, and B.
What's going on, podcasters and YouTubers? This is Hav here, one of your hosts from The Real Fan Review. And today, we just got my boy Sanj with me.
Good evening, everybody. As always, it's a pleasure to be with you.
Yeah, man. Today, no B. I think he's a new uncle today.
A new uncle?
Yeah, I think his fiance's sister had delivered twins today. So congratulations to her.
Congratulations.
And then our man in the chair is not feeling too well, which kind of was like going around because that was me on Sunday.
It is going around. I'm hoping I don't get it.
Yeah, man. So it's just gonna be me and you today, man.
Sounds good. We've been there before.
We've done this. So yeah, man. What I wanted to talk about today, man, was the Oscars were just on Sunday, but so we'll do a real fan review of the Oscar review. There we go. But there were two things in the news that I saw. Go for it.
I mean, not everybody can be the realies. The Oscars is
I see they try to copy a couple of our things.
Yeah, they did. The Oscars is a good second rate. To the realies.
No, not really close to the realies, but
not at all.
But there was bit of news. There was a trailer that came out last week, and then there was also some news in the directing world for the MCU. So let's start off with the MCU news because our fans love the MCU.
As do we.
Yeah.
Hail Disney.
Hail Disney. So we all know that it was Eric. Was it Erickson or Eric Derrickson?
Eric Derrickson,
I think, was the director for Doctor Strange 2, the Multiverse of Madness, right?
Okay.
So, they had conflicts of interest in the movie, and he came off of it. So they were looking for a new director, and they came up with Sam Raimi, our old Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2 director there, but also known for his horror movies and his Ash of the Dead or Ash versus the Dead?
Ash versus I think it is Ash versus.
It's something with Ash, right?
Yeah.
But Spider-Man 2 is one of the most well-known comic book movies that people rated high.
Is it Ash versus Evil Dead?
Maybe Evil Dead or Evil Dead, yeah. So Sam Raimi does those movies there. So he has a little bit of horror, which I can see why they got him for this Doctor Strange 2, because that was the kind of like lane they were going to go in with Doctor Strange 2, where it was going to be like horror adventure type of thing. But you know what? I think I'm just happy to see that someone that
is in the genre that like understands superhero movies or
and that's done one like Spider-Man 2,
right,
you know,
superhero sci-fi type thing. Type movies and materials. So it's right in his wheelhouse, as they say.
Right. And I think that also because of the way that Spider-Man 3 went down with Venom and Sandman and Spider-Man, like it was a jumbled mess. Out of the three movies he made, the third one was kind of like the weakest one. I think it gives him also an edge to want to outdo himself, you know what I mean? Like to kind of like
or redeem himself.
Yeah, like like just like that. I'm not gonna be left off with the superhero movies with that one.
I think with the Spider-Man movies, remember, I mean, looking back at it, Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, we loved them.
Those were classic, yeah.
That was like at the beginning of this wave of superhero movies. And remember, they weren't tied into anything else. Spider-Man was sitting by itself. That was when like X-Men was coming out too, and
exactly.
X-Men was in its own world as well. And the universes weren't tied together in any way, although they were Marvel stories, right? At that time, it wasn't this big MCU where everything is tied together and there's a long story and a long game going. So it was kind of an experiment. Things were they were experimenting with it because that was when they the special effects were so much better
now, yeah.
than like the 80s and early 90s movies, like the Thor movies.
They were cheesy. Because they didn't have the VFX for
it.
They
treated them like comic book movies. Like, oh, they're comic books. They're for kids. They're supposed to be hokey and cheesy and this and that and the other. And like they started to take those movies seriously.
And turned them into film.
Right. They turned them into theater. Right. I'm trying not to go too hard at Marty.
Yeah,
and by Marty I mean Martin Scorsese. Yeah. But speaking of which, I read an article where they were he was trying to explain his thoughts, opinions. Yeah, he's trying to elaborate on his. I'm like, no, dude, you said what you said.
Yeah, stand by it.
Like, don't try to explain. It just came off as even more sour grapes. Like, oh, I get it. You're Martin Scorsese, and you got upset because you went to a studio, and you said, hey, I'm Martin Scorsese, and I want to make a movie, and they were like, yeah, we're not interested. And you thought, you have a cachet of work and you're a big name, and by now when you show up and want to make a movie, they should say, hey, sure, we'll throw money at you. And they're like, not quite.
Yeah.
And that's why you were upset.
Can you make this comic book movie though?
Right, exactly. I'm not saying that's exactly what he said.
No.
That's how I took it.
Right.
But like from how from reading the article, I'm just like, oh, so he was just upset that it was his ego that got hurt when they're like, nah, we're not trying to throw that money at you.
Right.
Yeah. So good. But anyway.
Yeah.
You want to take shots at us? I'm going to take shots at you, buddy.
But, yeah, man. So, I mean, what's your... looking forward to any more than you were before with Doctor Strange 2 or not? Same enthusiasm?
No. I mean, just right now, if you told me Taika Waititi was directing something or doing something, that's what I would get so excited.
Of course,
because I ended up seeing Jojo Rabbit, and it was incredibly funny.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Jojo Rabbit was incredibly hilarious while dealing with very heavy subject matter. Right. Very, very heavy subject matter. Oh. But it also had those moments in it when those very heavy moments, but the story was just done so well, right, and told so well, that it all weaved together very, very well. And then starting to look at more of the stuff that he's done. I mean, dude, he's
talented and brilliant.
Oh my God,
absolutely, and he does it all. He's an actor, director,
writer, director, actor, everything.
He's doing Love and Thunder.
Yes,
and they're thinking about giving him some more stuff, but we'll see what happens.
They can give him everything for all I care. And for Taika Waititi, if I heard he's directing something, or now he's one of those actors. I mean, he's one of those artists. I would say I'm not even going to call him an actor. He's a director. Everything. He's one of those artists that if he's doing something, I'm there for it.
Gotcha.
And he's in my league with Christian Bale or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
I got you, man. And then, besides that directing news, like I said, there was a trailer that came out last week that kind of got everyone talking a little bit, was Chris Rock's interpretation of Saw, which he calls Spiral. And the trailer came out, and without giving away too much, because they didn't show really much any gore, they flashed one trap, but it was
such a quick flash, but it's scary.
It's the feel, the communication between the two officers, where Chris Rock is playing one of them, it's just, and the music.
Yeah.
You hear it coming, right? So I'm very curious to see what his take is. I don't know why I got the feeling like he's gonna go after whoever Jigsaw is, or if there is a Jigsaw in this movie, whoever the main bad guy is, looks like he might be going after police officers. So I'm interested to see the take on what's going on there. Did the police officers do something? Is he going after a certain police type of police officer, or is it just a random murder thing? We'll see what's going on. But just off the trailer itself, what did you think? Are you interested in the movie?
I'm thinking I owe Chris Rock an apology, because I remember when we were talking many episodes ago when we were talking about Jordan Peele and doing it. And then Chris Rock, they were saying how he was talking about doing some horror or whatnot, and I kind of made fun of what he would sound like in a boardroom trying to pitch pitch a horror movie or whatever. But it looks like he may be, just from the trailer, he looks really good doing drama. Which I haven't really seen him do. To me, everything he's done has always been even the serious stuff has been comedic.
Yeah.
In ways, but this looks like really serious, and he looks good doing it.
Exactly.
And since it's kind of his take on it, it would be really interesting to see what comes out of his mind.
Right.
Just to the fact that he's coming up with the idea and then acting in it as well, and it's kind of like his project that he's seeing through. I'm really interested.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where he goes with this, because I know there's something that I heard a while back, and I can't remember if it was like a psychologist who said it or if it was a comedian who said it, but they said if you really want like a horror movie or a dramatic movie, ask a comedian to write it, because their jokes come from a dark place sometimes. And I'm like, wow, you think the comedians are having these amazing lives, but before they got there, their struggle is part of what makes them make those jokes and the type of jokes that they make. And sometimes their humor comes from laughing at their own issues or laughing at their own things that they've seen growing up. And it's just like, wow.
Well, I've seen a lot of actors and actresses do interviews, and almost when they ask like what's the hardest thing to do, they always say comedy is the hardest thing to do.
Right.
They always say comedy. And you would think, why is comedy the hardest thing to do? Because it's laughter. You would think that that's the easiest thing to do because it's lighter. They said, no, it's hard because it's the hardest emotion. You can't fake it. Right?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Or you can't, it has to be good to elicit the laughter, to elicit the response.
You have to have timing, comedic timing.
Right. That's what comedians are geniuses.
Yeah.
You guys like Dave Chappelle, Eddie Murphy, these are real genius level people, and they see the world differently than everybody else. So again, the flip side of that coin, right? Life is duality. So the think of comedy as the light, the bright, the shining, the laughter, right? What's on the other side of that?
That darkness.
The darkness.
Yeah. Listen, look at Chappelle, man.
Yeah.
Chappelle
he went nuts.
Not only did he went nuts, but like he saw the type of comedy he was making and the effect that it was having, and he felt like he was downplaying real people's situations.
Right.
And he turned down millions, bro, and disappeared.
Right. It was just too much from.
It was just
too
crazy
much for him to handle.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, he's looking at it like, all right, I'm rich already.
Yeah.
How much more money do I need? And like having to, and am I going to do this? Is it worthwhile? Does it add value?
Right.
I can understand it.
Yeah, man. And again, that's one of the reasons why when Chris Rock said he was going to do Saw, at first, if you don't, without thinking, you're like, what's he doing with a horror movie? If you just take a second or two and think about it, again, these comedians sometimes go through some shit in their life. And that's where they come up with some of these concepts and some of these jokes.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm ready to see this movie.
It makes me think back to Robin Williams.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff that he's been in, even some of the dark stuff that he's been in, and just how good he was at both of it.
Right. Exactly, man. That's awesome, man.
And then I think about Robin Williams, and then I get sad because I miss Robin Williams. So
of course.
Yeah.
Nah, man, but I'm looking forward to seeing that. Did they say like when it's coming out sometime?
No, they didn't say when it was coming out.
Yeah.
They didn't say when it was coming out.
I'm surprised they didn't show like
coming
Jigsaw or something like that. Like
they did give us a little Easter egg where at the end of the trailer his hand was chained to the rail. And there's a hacksaw.
Yeah.
Because remember in the first Saw it was the guy's foot.
Uh-huh.
That was chained, his foot was chained to the
right,
and he had to saw off his foot to get free. So that was a little Easter egg,
a little homage,
right? Yes, as it were. Yeah.
And I think all the little spirals, all over the background. So I'm like, I guess they're hinting at it,
but they're doing it the right way. Don't give away too much.
Right? Yeah.
Don't give away too much in the fucking
easy,
trailer.
Relax. We'll get to you. We'll give it to you.
Yeah.
Second trailer.
Right, and by the fourth trailer, we'll know the movie. So
there you go. Oh man. So yeah, man. That's pretty much as far as like the news. The noteworthy news is the trailer for Spiral there. So if you haven't seen it, go to YouTube and Google it, or you know how to find trailers out there. So Saw is now called Spiral. And then like I said, we talked about the Doctor Strange 2 being directed by Sam Raimi. Looks like right now. And then we'll get to the meat and potatoes of this episode is Oscars, man. The Oscars 2020, man. What'd you think? Did you get a chance to catch it?
I did. So normally, I don't watch award shows.
Yeah. No, I usually watch the Oscars out of all of them. So you know what? Lie. I watch the Oscars and the Grammys.
Okay.
Because they usually come around like 2 weeks apart. So I know I watch both of them.
So with the Grammys, I'll wait till the Grammys are over, and then I'll YouTube all the musical performances, because I live for the musical performances from the Grammys, because they somehow they end up putting together the most mismatched people.
Yeah,
and it works.
Yeah,
and you're like, holy shit, that's like the most like awesomest collaboration.
It's like Dolly Parton and Jay-Z.
Yeah, exactly, right. And so I don't really watch because as much as like I love movies and like. And everything. I'm not into celebrity.
Yeah.
At all. Like zero. Like
right.
You could see a celebrity singing anyway. Like I have a couple people that I would completely lose it.
Right.
But it's literally a couple of people, and that's it.
Yeah.
And it could be any other celebrity. Like even as much as I love basketball and everything, I have no interest in talking to Michael Jordan.
Right.
None. Zero.
Yeah.
He could be there. He's there. All right.
Cool.
You don't play ball no more. Like, what are you doing for me? What have you done for me lately? You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah. So normally I won't watch award shows or anything around celebrity or anything like that. However, my mom loves like the Oscars and stuff like that, and she happened to be over at the house on Sunday, and she's like, "Oh, put on the Oscars." And in the back of my mind, I'm like, "Oh, come on.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch the Oscars." But she was there. And then it's like, okay, so it's something we can sit there and like do together, right?
Right.
So we sat there and we watched the Oscars, and it was incredible.
Yeah, man, I really enjoyed it, man. I got to tell you, even the, not the openers, but Steve Martin and Chris Rock, hilarious.
I like that they didn't have a host per se.
I was going to ask you that because they normally have a host. Last year they didn't have one because of the Kevin Hart situation.
Right.
And I think because it was such a success last year, they did it again this year.
I feel like when they have the host, they're trying too hard to be funny or whatever, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So they had everybody coming out and announcing the nominees and giving out the awards and whatever. And I thought that worked out really, really well. It really made it more about the awards.
Just getting the awards out there. Yeah.
Yeah. And instead of watching a performance by a host.
Right.
Right. So I liked it a lot.
I can't front. I definitely liked it last year because I didn't think it was going to work at all last year, and then it worked so great.
Yeah.
And when they said they were going to do it again, I was like, all right, well, let's check it out. And you know what? There was some points where it was like there was someone that introduced the introducers. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I was like, that's weird. But I'm like, I guess that's what happens when you don't have a host. They're like, okay, well, for our next, nomination, we'll bring up, it was Keanu Reeves and was it Penny Marshall? No, Penny Marshall passed, I think. I don't even know. Man in the chair. But it was Keanu Reeves and somebody that came out with him. But there was someone who told us Keanu Reeves was coming out. And I'm like, all right, well, okay. That's what I guess a host would have said. Well, here's this to introduce this thing. Right? But for the most part, I'm cool without the host because it does make it just about the actors, the movies, and the awards. Bottom line. Period. That's what it is. Right? And it's less about the jokey stuff, but there are funny moments, man. Like I said, the Chris Rock and the Steve Martin jokes on Jeff Bezos, kid. Dude, they said Jeff Bezos watched Marriage Story and thought it was a comedy. Like, that shit is hilarious, man.
Do you know? Oh, it was Diane Keaton that came out.
Okay,
they were hilarious. Yeah,
they were funny too.
Yeah. Because they could have been. You know what it is? It looked like they could have just both been drunk, and like they weren't. They weren't doing shtick.
They weren't.
They were just drunk.
They were just talking.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Right. Would you notice? You'd bring up Marriage Story after the Oscars. I watched Marriage Story.
Get out of here. Dude, I'm telling you, I was gonna ask you a question about that. So let me ask you now, man. When you see the Oscars, right? Before, like when I was younger, I was only about certain types of movies, just action movies and comic book movies and sci-fi movies and everything else, right?
Right.
But I find like now, the last maybe 5, 6, 7 years of my life, when I see these movies being nominated for Best Picture and stuff like that, I actually give it a shot now. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I would have gone to see Parasite.
Right.
But because of all the awards and nominations that it got, like, I'm waiting for it to come out on Blu-ray so I could rent it or purchase it or, you know, get it off of the on demand or something like that. Do you feel the same way, like, when you see all these pictures? Because clearly you just saw Marriage Story.
Right.
Right?
Yes. Absolutely, yes. The short answer is yes. But then, like, I look at all the documentaries
Right.
that are you know that go up for awards, and then like the short films and things like that. I'm like, how does anybody know about this stuff? Like, where is it available? Like,
how do I not know about this?
Right, like, yeah, exactly. Like, where can we find this stuff? Like, we have to make it like our mission to like be more like in touch with this stuff.
Right, and conscious of these like these films that are coming out, right? Because like I gotta tell you, I personally do want to see Marriage Story now. You know,
it's intense, bro.
I can only imagine when I saw that Kylo Ren was being, you know,
Adam
listed,
Driver,
was being listed as a Best Actor nominee.
And they both deserve Best Actor nominations for their roles.
Right. So I mean, first of all, I know both actors from Star Wars and Black Widow. You know what I mean? So I'm like, the two actors I like, so I might as well try to see that movie. But then when it's nominated for Best Picture, I'm like, damn, it must have been good. Because I tell you where I failed in life once with Best Picture, right? I never saw Gladiator when it came out in the movie theaters, right?
That was such a good movie.
Oh my God. The minute I saw it, I went and bought it. After I rented it, I went and bought it. But I would have never known about that movie had it not been for the Oscars that year. When it came out and it won Best Picture, I'm like, what the hell is Gladiator? Dude, I rented it and loved it, right? So ever since then, I'm like, okay, whatever's Best Picture, I'm going to do my best to watch it, as long as it's not like some, like, you know, period piece. Some of those period pieces I can't get into, right? You know, the fancy dresses and the stuff from
Funny enough, I like period pieces.
Yeah?
But anyway, that's it. Like, I don't know why, but I have such a fascination with, like, Victorian England,
Mm-hmm.
and like ancient Rome,
right,
Greece. I just don't know why. I just do.
That's cool, man. And then you get to see it on film.
And then you get to see it on film, like stuff like and then you know, stuff like Braveheart, anything set like that. You know, with, you know, the British monarchy involved in any way and stuff like that.
Right.
It just intrigues me.
I hear you, man. But like, out of those Best Pictures, right? I actually think I'm going to give everyone a shot except for probably Little Women, just to be honest.
I will give Little Women a shot also, just from seeing some clips of it.
The clips of it made me not want to see it at all.
Oh, wow.
I was watching the clips. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to see this.
But, okay, so why?
It's just like, I don't need love. Love is like a fairy tale. And this and I'm like, oh God. I'm like, it's just like, you're just a man and a man doesn't understand. And I'm like, oh God. Like,
you know what?
Yeah.
I want to see it.
Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, checked out, you know. But then I look at the other Best Pictures. I know Ford v Ferrari. You talked.
There's nothing else to say for me.
Yeah, you said such high praises about that movie. It's definitely on my need to rent list. I gotta tell you, a comedy featuring Hitler.
It was incredible. It was incredible.
I saw the preview for it. I'm like,
initially, I had stayed away from Jojo Rabbit just because I'm like, I hope they don't do something where they kind of make you feel sorry for Hitler.
Exactly.
Or make you like kind of root for Hitler in any way. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't want them to do anything like that where you're in a situation where you're rooting for
Hitler.
I have nothing wrong with movies where we're rooting for the bad guy,
Not that
Not
bad
when
guy.
the bad guy's Hitler.
Not
No.
that guy.
9.
I got to. I saw the trailers and I'm like, oh well, Taika just ruined his career.
Right, exactly. I thought so too. But then you watch the movie and you're like, okay.
Right.
It's hilarious, bro. It is hilarious.
So it's on my to watch list
Yeah.
now. You know what I mean? The Irishman. As much as I like Martin Scorsese movies, 3.5 hour Netflix. I said no, bro. I was like, I've yet to watch it, but because of all the nominations and because it was up there for Best Picture, it got awards for different things, and I'm like, you know what? I need to just maybe watch it in sections.
I will watch The Irishman at some point, but I'm not running out to watch The Irishman because it's the same gangster movie again. It's not even different actors.
No, it's the same guys.
So we're gonna tell another gangster story. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be like Goodfellas. It's a what story are we telling?
Right.
And that comes back to what we were talking about with Martin Scorsese before. You're criticizing Martin, but you're making the same movie again. And
Another gangster movie.
Right, another gangster movie with the same actors. Right? Okay?
Yeah. Like, let me guess. Put Pesci's in the movie.
De Niro's
De
a
Niro.
tough... Right, he's
Al
a tough guy.
Pacino's in the movie.
Right? He plays a tough guy, right? Al Pacino is going to deliver some lines really loud and wave his hands around. Right?
Shocking.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
As an aside to the gangster movies, I saw The Gentleman. Now that's a gangster movie that you want to see.
The gangster. That's the with
Matthew McConaughey.
All right.
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey. Yeah. So that was a different type of gangster movie. Now you wanted to keep telling gangster movie stories? Let's do it. This one is actually set in England. Right? But Matthew McConaughey is not playing an Englishman or a British person. He's playing an American, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like he's doing something out of character.
Right.
But it's set in England, and it has a feel kind of like the Departed. The best way I can describe, Guy Ritchie was the director. It's
Right.
Guy Ritchie doing Quentin Tarantino.
Gotcha.
Right?
So the payoff is at the end?
Yes, and they start the story just like Tarantino. Start the story near the end, tell it backwards. Not tell it backwards, but you start near the end and then tell the story, and then there's a payoff
Right.
at the end. Lots of twists and turns along the way, like The Departed, right? So I thought it was something really, really interesting. Very dialogue heavy. That's why I say like a Tarantino movie.
Yeah, right.
Very, very dialogue heavy, and
But
the
good
dialogue
dialogue.
is very important. You had Hugh Grant in it as well.
Yeah.
And normally Hugh
Hunnam
Grant
is in there also.
Yep. Normally Hugh Grant's playing these characters that we love, that are like, he's like quirky and funny, and he's being like the cheeky British guy.
Yeah.
No. He's playing a very serious character, and he pulls it off so well. So it's seeing him do something different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that was a really good movie as well. But yeah, the movies from so now I got to go see Parasite.
What's your thoughts, man? I mean, I definitely want to see it. As many awards as it won. First international film.
Yeah.
That is, no English subtitles you have to watch and read.
Or we can learn South Korean.
One or the other. I think the subtitles be easier.
All right.
But yeah, I'm down to see this now. I think I have to see it. 1917. I heard it was great. I heard it was fantastic, but I haven't had a chance to go see it.
I'm kind of done with like the war movies, like the Saving Private Ryan, the Dunkirk,
right?
They just seem like all the same movie.
How about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, man? I know you.
That was awesome.
You think it was awesome?
I thought it was awesome.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it because I didn't get that many great reviews.
It was slow.
Yeah.
And it was a big build up, but big payoff at the end. Big payoff at the end.
Quentin Tarantino payoff.
It was
mayhem.
Vintage Quentin Tarantino.
Oh my goodness, man. And then let's see, what other movies made out there? Well, we all saw Joker, so Joaquin Phoenix winning Best Actor.
I agree.
Me too.
First of all, I agree.
My man transformed his body.
Everything.
Jesus.
He brought the Joker to life in a way that, with a depth that we've never really seen. Even Heath Ledger's Joker didn't have the depth. The performance was incredible. So we can. Right. I still think it is debatable between Heath Ledger and Joaquin Phoenix, but just because of the story, you have a whole story that focuses on the Joker, as opposed to the Joker being a major character or the
like supporting character of the movie. Or?
Well, I would say the nemesis.
Right.
So he gets equal billing to Batman, but it's still not his movie.
Right.
The depth of the story is in Batman, his origin, his growth, his rise, his fall, everything. But we'd never seen the Joker in depth, a performance of the Joker in depth, like to that depth, like really in his mind. But yeah, no, I completely agree with him winning Best Actor for that. And then his speech. I don't know. I really didn't. I thought he was just at some point just rambling. Yeah. I thought that's what I thought.
He was rambling too,
but he was saying good stuff.
It came into a cohesive at the
end.
Then
but then he brought it all back together. And when the way he brought it together, I'm like, okay, all right, you made sense.
Right, because I thought he was kind of like saying things about people, then about animals, and I'm like, oh, it's about animal rights. You know what I mean?
It wasn't just about animal rights.
No, it was a couple things.
It was about. Overall about compassion, and I thought it was really cool how he brought it back to
the lyrics
that his brother wrote, and it's really what he was just talking about, like, can we just all be more compassionate towards each other, towards the environment, towards animals, towards everything. In everything that we do, just let compassion be your guiding light. And I'm like, okay, I get it. I'm with that.
Brilliant or Art of His Rockers?
Both. He can be both. That's
I was like confused for a moment because I'm like, the way he spoke and the words he used, in the end it all made sense, but it came out jumbled. And I'm like, I wonder. That's like there's some genius in there. You know what I'm saying?
There's plenty of genius.
There's genius in what he was saying because of how he said it, the way it came out. I was just like, I wonder. But yeah, man. I think he deserved it, man. He deserved it.
Absolutely.
Then what I found hilarious was, for the reallys for Best Actress in the movie, I put Renee Zellweger's Judy, and I based it upon the trailer because none of us saw it. And she won the Best Actress.
I thought her speech was horrible.
She almost rambled as much as Joaquin.
She was trying to outdo him. And she didn't have it prepared, and she's like, yeah. Well, I mean, you know what though? But she's kind of, she's so cute doing Renee Zellweger,
Renee Zellweger doing Renee Zellweger.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you think like, oh, Bridget Jones, like,
I gotta say something though, because this one caught me by surprise because it was one of the first awards for the night. How the hell is Tom Hanks the Best Supporting Actor instead of Best Actor in a movie?
Well, if first of all, if it's Tom Hanks, right, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
So if he's not the main character, then he's a supporting character.
I'm surprised. I mean, granted, I didn't see the movie, but I'm like, I'm pretty sure he knocked it out the park.
Yeah.
But Brad Pitt ended up winning Best Supporting Actor for his role in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yes, he did. Absolutely. I thought I really thought his character more stole the show in the movie than Leo's character, even though he was kind of the main character.
Right.
But in the end, in the big scene, it was all about Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
And even in the major scenes where they were going to the commune and everything, those were Brad Pitt scenes. Uh-huh. I thought Leo was more his character was more the supporting character, and the way the movie felt to me is that Brad Pitt's character was the main character,
right?
Not Leo's character.
Gotcha, man.
I guess I was wrong.
And then, like, when we were talking before about, like, certain awards making you want to see a movie, actress in a supporting role, Laura Dern won that one for Marriage Story. But Margot Robbie was nominated in it for Bombshell, and I didn't know what Bombshell was. And then I looked up the trailer.
And I did see Bombshell as well.
Okay, I want to see that movie.
So her character. So you had the character that Charlize Theron played.
They're the Fox News anchors.
The Fox News anchors, and you also had oh my God, I'm blanking on her name.
Charlize Theron, Margot Robbie, and
used to be married to Tom Cruise. Oh my gosh. Okay, so but yeah, it was a story about the other two characters were actual characters, and Margot Robbie's character was a conglomeration of. She was a made up character, but it was a conglomeration of a couple
of secretaries,
of women that had
reporters?
Made complaints against Roger Ailes. So like everything that she went through,
someone had gone
through, like, you know, like the weird, you know, the very uncomfortable audition, and actually, I'm glad they didn't show a scene of her actually doing anything with him, but you know, when afterwards when she says, "Oh, I gave in to him" and whatnot, so all of, you know, she was a conglomeration of characters. So I think she really did, and she played the character, and she played that character very well. She delivered it, and you kind of get the depth of the character well, like that. On the one hand, she was ambitious, so she put herself in a position to go meet with Roger Ailes. She wasn't invited. She, like, you know, made her own way to go meet him. And of course she had heard, you know, about him and whatever, but she's like, you know, I'll be different or whatever. And then, but then she gets there, and as strong of a person as she is, as strong of a woman as she is, just how very imposing Roger Ailes' personality was to disarm her. And then you see that part of it too, and then she becomes a victim as well. So there's so many layers to the character that she played, and then in the end, when you know, when she walks away from it all in strength, you know, it's. I thought she did really well.
So I'm interested in seeing that one. You know, Scarlett Johansson was nominated for that actress in supporting role for Jojo Rabbit.
Nicole Kidman. Why could I not remember Nicole Kidman's name? Oh my God, I'm horrible.
Then one of our top movies for the realies, Toy Story 4 won for animated feature film.
Yep.
Righteous. I was surprised to see that Missing Link was on there. I didn't think that movie made a lot of money. It was seen by a lot, but maybe it was.
I didn't see it, but I wanted to see it. So now, you know, once it's available, I'll go back and.
Yeah, and then, like, you know, I'm just going through the list right now of all the movies, but it's pretty much the same 10 movies. You know, Joker, Jojo Rabbit, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, The Irishman. You know, it's just.
And you know what? You know what's funny about the Irishman as well is that Steven Spielberg. You know, we had the whole thing with him, how he was trying to keep Netflix movies out of the Oscars, and then here comes Martin Scorsese with a Netflix movie.
All of a sudden, everybody's quiet.
Right? Right? Because I don't know how to assess this, right? But who would you say is more highly regarded as a director, Steven Spielberg or Martin Scorsese?
In the Oscar crowd, Martin Scorsese.
Right.
Us, Spielberg. The fans, Spielberg. Right. You know, but.
So it's
the hoity-toity.
Right. So I find it very interesting that Steven Spielberg is very quiet about
Irishman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Quiet. And as much as we've been as much as we personally have been giving Martin Scorsese a hard time.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool when the director of Parasite you know, just pointed out at him and said, you know, "Thank you, Martin." And then everyone gave Martin Scorsese a standing ovation.
Something about he followed him in film school,
right?
Or something
Yeah,
like that,
yeah. And then he said that, you know, it was a really nice moment.
Yeah.
That, you know, everyone there, you know, acknowledged him, and then Martin Scorsese's response to it too. He really looked genuinely
happy for somebody else.
No, happy for somebody, and then like humbled by it. Like he's not like, you know, buying into his own hype.
Right.
Is that like you feel like he was genuinely, you know, the look on his face and everything, like he was genuinely like thankful, and, you know, for the applause and for the recognition and everything. So
absolutely, man.
You know, so sometimes unfairly we give him a hard time. It's just that, you know, yeah.
Well, one of the other things that I saw that I actually kind of really liked was original score, Joker. Remember when we watched that movie, man? One of the things we said when we came out the theater was that the freaking violin that was going on in the background every time something serious was happening.
So eerie.
It was just so. It was like dreadful, but like crazy, and it just stuck with me. You know what I mean? And I remember thinking about the music, and when it won, I was like, yeah, man, much better than Star Wars.
I don't think the Star Wars music is great,
Yeah,
but I just don't think they've done very much new with it.
Yeah, it's classic Star Wars
Yeah,
stuff. You know
right.
what I mean? And then I'm trying to see what else, man. Anything out there else?
Best moment of the Oscars.
Go for it.
His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom's what? When they were doing before they did the musical thing, when they were talking about how a song it can be so impactful to a movie that the movie becomes synonymous with the song and the song becomes synonymous with the movie, and they went through all the ones, right?
Oh yeah, and I was singing along with most of them.
No, yeah, and then you
Purple Rain,
Purple Rain. Yeah, that one was crazy. And then when at the end when they had a clip, was it of Burt Reynolds or something?
Yeah,
saying, sometimes you gotta lose yourself to know yourself, and I'm like, that sounds like Eminem. That sounds like lose yourself.
Yeah.
And then you heard the guitar. I'm like, what? I'm like, are we doing this? Are we doing? And it's Eminem. Apparently, this was a big secret.
Yeah, big secret.
I'm like, how did I not know that Eminem was gonna perform? 50 knew, because I was watching an interview with 50 Cent today, and he was just like, they asked him, "Did you know your boy was gonna be up there?" He's like, "Yeah, I knew."
Yeah, because
like,
him and Emma are cool as hell.
Exactly,
Yeah.
But I thought that was so crazy to have Eminem come out there.
Yeah, everybody was confused at first, like, what is going on?
Yeah, they're like, what's going on? And then they're like,
why?
Holy shit, it's Eminem.
Yeah, but apparently what happened is that when he won the Oscar for that song, he never got a chance to perform it on the Oscars.
Right.
So they gave him his opportunity.
Right. And then I loved the performance.
Right.
But what I loved more was they kept panning to the crowd, and like the whole crowd was singing along to the song. And then you had even people putting up their hands, like doing it real.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, look at the impact. And I just think about, because rap is our music, right? Rap started a little bit. It started in the 80s pretty much, right?
Right.
And, that's like when we were born and whatnot. But I feel as rap grew up, we grew up too.
With
so,
it.
yeah. So it's our music. To me, like, there hasn't been any new. And it was a new music form, right?
Right.
I guess EDM is this generation's form of music.
Right.
Because I'm not sure of the origins of EDM.
Yeah. Drugs.
Well,
no, it's electronic music that's just blended with different sound effects.
Right.
Yeah.
But I feel like rap is our music, and here we are at our age, and like this is the Oscars, a well-respected, probably the most well-respected entertainment industry award show. Right? And I just remember thinking in the 80s and 90s, people telling us, well, that's not music.
Right.
That's not serious. That's jungle music. That's noise. That's, all these things, talking all this nonsense about rap, right?
Right.
And then here we are in 2020 at the Oscars. Eminem's performing, and the entire crowd knows the lyrics to his song.
Yeah.
And just to show you how far rap has come and how iconic and it is, and how it's interweaved itself into the social fabric.
Part of entertainment now.
Right.
You can't avoid it.
And it's and then I think even more so what got me, that you have people there in the band that was playing with him, violins, cellos, everything, that are classically trained musicians who come. I'm not saying that they themselves would call what rap is not music, but the schools that they came from, those classically trained, they would say, well, rap is not music. And here you are, and you're backing up a rapper, right? You're a backup musician for a rapper, one of the greatest rappers of all time, of course. But it just made me feel really good to see how far rap has come. And like, because it's something like Kobe Bryant, something like that. It's ours.
Yeah.
Because we grew up with it. It grew up with us.
Right. It's part of us.
It's part of us. You know, and
it's
just
in our DNA.
It's in our DNA. You know, and just it was vindicating.
Yeah, man.
And I just thought that moment stole the whole show.
I think my two favorite moments from the show were the two comedians both times. It was Steve Martin and Chris Rock and Maya Rudolph. And
oh my God, they were hilarious.
Oh my God, what's her name? I can't think of her name right
Kristen
now.
Wiig.
Yes, Kristen Wiig. Dude, and you're like, that was acting. And they were just losing their minds up there. I thought it was hilarious, man. But Chris Rock and Steve Martin, you know, honestly, I thought Maya Rudolph and Tiffany Haddish were gonna host this year because they did a great job last year when they did their presentation.
Yeah.
They also did like a comedy routine.
Sketch,
yeah. So I thought they were gonna do it this year, but dude, those two were hilarious also, man. So to me, those are the two moments that stood out for me was the two comedians introducing the Oscars and then also the Kristen Wiig and Maya Rudolph in the middle. But yeah, man. But overall, I think I was satisfied with the Oscars. That was good. That was okay.
The director from I don't know his name off the top of my head, but the director from Parasite.
Yeah.
Every time he came up and like the speech that he gave, so
I thought it was like Boon Ju or something like that.
Yeah. He had something even nicer to say than the time he came up
before,
and then he ended like, "I'm gonna drink till morning."
Dude, that needs to be my response for every good thing.
Yeah. You know, he would you know say his spiel in South Korean, and then of course he'd have his translator and everything, and then he'd come back to the mic and say, "And I'm going to drink till morning."
You respect that?
I respect that. But no, and I mean, and there's more that he said in English and everything.
Of course.
You know, it just shows you how much time and effort that they put into doing what they do. And he looked surprised every time he came up.
Yeah.
He looked completely surprised.
Yeah.
To be winning.
He said after he won Best International Film, he thought he was done for the night. So.
Right. Right.
So that's crazy, man. Yeah, man. So that's the Oscars in 2020, man. It was like I said, I think it was a good show. I did enjoy watching it, and you know, I hope next year is just as good.
So now I just watching it by accident.
Yeah.
I will be watching it next year because you know, it was a really, really good show.
And you know what made it interesting for me too, though, was because I wanted to see if it matched up with anything that we did with the Really. So
some,
yeah, Toy Story, Joker.
I mean, ours is a
Joaquin.
little bit, ours is a little bit more biased towards the superhero Marvel and everything, but
Hail Disney.
But yeah,
man. But yeah, man, when we get back together this weekend, I think we're all going to see Birds of Prey, and we'll get you guys a review and what we think about the Birds of Prey there, where it ranks for us with the DCEU movies. And we'll get hopefully the whole team back. We'll have Brandon and Al with us the next episode there. So I want to thank Sanj for coming through for tonight.
Of course.
And you know, we're going to say goodnight. You hear Sanj in the beginning. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. You can email us at therealfanreview@gmail.com, or you can just go to our website and leave a comment there. And coming from New York, we're going to say goodnight.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good night.